Hey loves, welcome to another episode of Transformation. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Naomi Ofwedo. If you're new and you're just stopping by, hey my love, you're highly welcome. In this platform, all we do is self-development, self-improvement, and self-care. So guys, in today's video, this is one of most talked about advices to my close friends, even my sisters, is that they need to stop oversharing. Stop oversharing, because I'm gonna teach you how to live a private life and if you tend to overshare and the consequences of actually really oversharing. The first thing I always tell people is that you need to be very careful. Be also selfish with every detail of your life, because it's not every time you tell someone what you have or what's going on in your life. When you overshare, you disclose too much personal information, and that often in a way tends to become very uncomfortable for other people or even very harmful to yourself. And seeking connections or validation. Oversharing can lead to unintended consequences such as damaged relationship, vulnerability to judge, or even regrets. Let me tell you something, stop oversharing. If you need to protect your privacy, because if you don't, you literally expose intimate details of your life, making you vulnerable. That's one thing. And how it affects you is that you reveal personal information too quickly or even to the wrong people. It may even lead to regret or discomfort. You lose control of your situations. This can even overwhelm others and even potentially damage relationships, especially when it creates an imbalance in the give and take communication. Do you understand? Because imagine constantly talking about your personal issues, telling the person, it can just be a situation whereby you keep telling this person, oversharing, the person is even tired. It can just, create this type of thing whereby the person starts saying, oh God, here he comes again, I don't want to even hear about this. You just become a leech, you just become a liability to that person. Do you understand? So constantly talking about your personal issues can literally make others feel burnt out or worried or even uncomfortable, because some people, like, do you know that there are some people that you will meet today and they will tell you everything about another person that you saw them with? They would literally tell you, oh, this is what me and this person did. In my head, I'm like, okay, I just met you now. Is this how you're going to talk? If I'm going to bring you in my circle, is this how you're going to talk about me? So that kind of person loses a lot of integrity, I think, to some extent, because a lot of people don't want to associate themselves with people that have loose mouth, because they won't share things with you, because your mouth is for the society. Do you understand? You're a town crier. You told me this is the reason why she doesn't. This is the. She was just talking about this girl, and then the next day I saw her with this girl acting all. And I'm like, nah, this is not the kind of person I want by my side, because anything that's gonna happen to me, this person would literally start telling people. Well, it also actually helps to identify for trust. It can also prevent meaningful conversation, meaningful connections from developing, because the conversation is too one-sided. Do you get? The next thing is that you need to avoid future regrets, in the sense that once you shared something, you can't take it back. In the heat of the moment, you might disclose information and then you later wish, oh God, I shouldn't have spoken like this. Do you get that kind of thing? I shouldn't have spoken like this. I shouldn't have done this. This actually affects you by even being more vulnerable, more detectable, more exposed, and even down to being more embarrassed, because it might even damage your reputation as a person or even relationships. So especially if you reveal things that should have remained private, this will also lead to blurred boundaries, in the sense of, like, making it harder for you to even maintain control over what's appropriate to discuss in some certain situations. Without clear boundaries, others might feel entitled to know more about you. to know more about your life, because you've given them that accessibility, do you get, than you're comfortable with, because it can also even invite unwanted advice or opinions on your personal issues. And it's something whereby, like, even people you've never spoken to would even call to advise you. You'll be like, oh, I didn't say this to this person. And one thing about oversharing is that you can't really trust if that other person is also an oversharer. So if you share about oh, I just got a house, I just did da, and the next thing you see someone congratulating you, oh, congratulations, oh my god, I just heard that you got a house. You be like, what? But I didn't tell you. Like, I didn't tell you that. Like, I didn't tell you that I got a house. I didn't tell you any of these things. And then you just become like you just become very, very embarrassed. You just become very disappointed in yourself, because why would this nah, come on, girl. Like, seriously, oversharing can become even extremely draining, extremely exhausting, especially if you're seeking validation from other people or comfort from other people who are unable to even provide that support you need. So it can even damage your credibility as a person. And I'm talking about credibility as a person. I'm talking about in your workspace, that can affect your career growth. Because if you're someone that's in the office, they know that you talk a lot and everything. There's some certain things that they wouldn't really want to tell you, even in the office, just because you might be exposed to tell the boss most of these things, because your colleague might even want to question your professionalism. Oh, like, this girl doesn't even have a control over herself. Do you understand, that kind of thing? So it may also blur the line between you and your colleagues, and even personal and professional relationships, because it's now going to make it difficult for you to actually develop a very genuine relationship from you and a client that could even change your life. Do you understand? That is one of the regrets about oversharing. So you also need to know how to maintain difficult situation with respect and authority, no matter what. Keep telling me, oh, Naomi, I don't know how to control this. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to that. Don't worry, I got you. Here's how to manage and avoid oversharing, especially in today's world that is interconnected. The first one is to understand the root cause. So you need to reflect on why you feel compelled to actually share personal details, especially with people who you may not even need to do that, or people you don't even know. So you need to ask yourself, if you seek validation or attention or support, like, are you feeling anxious or vulnerable? Because sometimes oversharing is a response to feeling lonely or misunderstood. But it's important to recognize that not all settings or not all people are suitable for deep personal revelations. Do you understand? The next one is you need to establish boundaries for yourself. And when I'm talking about boundaries for yourself, define your clear boundaries around what you consider personal and what's appropriate to share, depending on the context, right? So before sharing any sort of thing, pause and ask yourself at that point for the situation. Like, for example, avoid discussing highly personal, and when I say personal topics with co-workers or acquaintances. So you need to establish internal guidelines, such as reserving certain personal conversations, for some certain things. The third one is to know your audience. Consider the relationship and the emotional proximity you have with that person, because before sharing any sort of personal details with a stranger or casual acquaintances, right, you need to keep the conversation light and general. Reserve personal and emotional disclosures for people that you know that you trust, and people who have demonstrated empathy and discretion, right? You need to be discreet, and you need to know the people that are discreet with you, because oversharing with people you don't know well can create awkwardness or even damage your reputation. Like, they would even start talking about you like, this person is a loose mouth, this person, don't tell this person this. And this can avoid you getting some jobs, getting some businesses, because people don't trust you with what they have to say. Do you get that kind of thing? So the next one is you need to focus on active listening. Practice listening more than you speak. I said it in my last video, because when you start engaging in active listening, I'm telling you, you reach your fullest potential, because it prevents the urge of oversharing, because it helps you build stronger, balanced relationships. When you're in a conversation with someone, ask questions and show interest in the other person's experience, because instead of rushing into your own, this will shift the focus away from you and create a healthy balance of a give and take. Do you get? Also, be mindful of social media. Be mindful of social media. Social media, when I go on social media, I see a lot of things that shouldn't be overshared. I would just be like, how is it that you got to this situation? Do you understand? Oversharing often happens on social media, where the line between private and public life can become blurred. You see people posting about their marriage, posting about what their husband did, and later they're still in that sort of marriage. So what was your point? Do you understand? So before posting personal information online, consider who might see it. Consider how it can be interpreted, because your kids can be small. You can be embarrassing your husband, you can be embarrassing yourself on social media, and then when they grow up, time will tell. Time will literally tell. So once something is shared online, it can be difficult to actually take back, and it may even leave you feeling exposed or judged. For instance, avoid posting about deeply personal struggles or conflicts in real time, and save those conversations for private settings. My next point is to check for emotional triggers. Oversharing happens, I feel like why people tend to overshare is because of they've been triggered from the past, or when you've emotionally charged or going through a difficult time. Do you understand? If you feel emotional or upset, wait before you share. Take time to process your feelings before talking. If you need to share, choose a trusted friend. I know I'm saying this, even when things are going to be rough or rocky between both of you, you know that no matter how you and this person fought, this person is not going to, have a loose mouth about your situation or anything, because that's a very important thing. Because this thing also happened to a very close friend of mine. She got so open to a particular friend that she felt she trusted, but she didn't even know that person would be the end of her. Do you get that kind of thing? So you need to know that if you don't trust your friends, they are therapists. If you don't trust the therapist, there are a lot of people who would respect your vulnerability. For instance, if you're going through a breakup, avoid oversharing to feel silence. Yeah, there's many people that will go on dates, and due to the fact that they are not very good in conversations and everything, they want to avoid awkward silences in communicating and all of those things. And then you see that they start oversharing what the person never asked them to. And you need to understand that in silent conversations, you need to be okay and comfortable with pauses. I'm talking about pauses. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If there is a gap in your conversation, resist the urge to fill it in with your personal issues. Instead of asking open-ended questions. Do you understand? So ask open-ended questions, and that will keep the conversation flowing to some extent. Do you get that kind of thing? And it will also prevent you from revealing too much about yourself. The next point is to reflect on the past experience. Learn from previous situations. You knew you overshared. You knew what you went through, and you're still oversharing. You need to understand that, did this lead to a positive outcome for me? Think about times when you overshared too much and felt regret afterward. What was the situation like? How did it make you feel? And how did the other person even react to that situation? Use these reflections to be able to guide you in your future interactions and avoid any repetitive pattern. Do you understand? The next point I always tell people is to balance vulnerability and discretion, in the sense that while being vulnerable, it can also strengthen your relationship, right? Because it's also important to balance it with discretion to protect your emotional well-being. Vulnerability is essential for building deep connections, but it should be shared with the right person at the right time. For example, sharing your deepest fears on the first date. Well, were you bored? I don't understand. Why are you going too deep on the first date? The person will even be scared. Like, it's too intense for a first date. Like, the person will be scared. But gradually, when you get to know the person, first, second, third date, I think that should be okay for you to tell the person, okay, these are my deepest fears, because over time it can create like a much more stronger and more genuine connection, because the guy would literally be like, oh, why is this girl oversharing? Is it everyone you're gonna meet and you're gonna keep talking about your situation? It just tends to turn people off, I believe, for some guys, but it just tends to turn people off, because I don't want to generalize anything right now. And the last point I always tell people is you need to seek validation in healthy ways. If oversharing is a way to seek validation or reassurance, look for healthier ways. Let's be honest. Like, you need to understand that building your self-esteem through self-reflections, self-journaling, or therapy, rather than just relying on external validation. Practice self-affirmations. Remind yourself that you don't need to overshare to feel valued, or to feel seen, or to feel understood. Practice the pause. Before you share something, pause. Think. Take a moment. Think about the potential consequences of your words. Count to 3 or take a deep breath, because I tell people breath practices are like the bomb. Because in my head, when I'm about to overshare something with someone, I just pause. I'll be like, is this really important? Do I need to share things? And it will refrain me from doing the things I want to regret in the future. Do you get that kind of thing? So this pause gives you time to consider whether you're sharing it necessarily or appropriately with the right person, given context. Do you get? You also need to respect privacy in relationship. Consider the impact of oversharing on others, particularly when you're sharing details about mutual experiences or relationship. Avoid sharing details about other people's life because of what, or even without their consent, because it's not right. For example, sharing personal aspects of your relationship with a partner to others, or your partner, without considering their feelings, could lead to branches of trust. Because imagine you go and overshare to your friend, and then mistakenly, obviously, you're back to the guy, right? Now your friend is outside. She has forgotten that she's meant to withhold a particular conversation that you both had, and eventually something just spills off. Your boyfriend wouldn't trust you about anything anymore. So it literally like could lead to branches of trust whereby they wouldn't even trust you anymore. So respecting your partner's privacy, respecting other people's privacy, not just your partner, it's a key part of maintaining healthy, respectful relationships. Do you get? And by recognizing when and why you have to do that, you need to now develop habits that foster more thoughtful communication. You can build healthier relationships and protect your emotional well-being, because some people actually lose a potential relationship because they overshared. Yes, that's one of the regrets. It's not worth it. Was it worth it? No, it wasn't. So that's just the funny thing. Stop oversharing. Stop the cho. Don't do that. Like, do you get? It's not worth it. I'm telling you, it's going to make you regret a whole lot of things. You're going to feel so low about life. And another thing I always tell people is that you would lose a lot of people when you overshare. Trust me, a lot of potential relationships, not just I'm talking about just platonic relationships. I'm talking about friendships. You will lose your integrity as a person. So guys, I've come to the end of this video, and I hope that most of the points I stated in this video could literally help you from oversharing, and you can literally trace the reason why you're actually oversharing. It might not just be part of you just started doing it, or it has been part of you, but you need to learn how to cut things down. So guys, in this video, please, if you have more points on how to stop oversharing, please put it down in the comment section below. I would be amazed if you did that, because we are also learning, and I could also learn from you, not just you watching my videos. So yes, please guys, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.